Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. My name is Corinne Brad, and I've always loved hand embroidery. It's one of those things that never seems to go out of fashion, and it's really popular at the minute. So I've just got some useful tips if you're starting out. If you want to do something like a sort of word design, you know, a quote that you can hang up, you can have it in a frame, an embroidery frame on the wall. These are the tips for you. So to start with, grab yourself a selection of embroidery frames. These tiny ones here, which are about 4 inches across or 10 centimetres across, are perfect for small pieces of work. If you're doing something larger, you will obviously want a larger frame. You need to give yourself enough room, but so that you can comfortably hold it without it being massive. Now, the first tip I've got for you is, if you take your inner hoop from your embroidery frame and you wrap it with cotton tape or ribbon, whatever you've got in the house. Really, it's just to give it a bit of extra grip, especially when you're trying to set your fabric in the frame. It gives it a bit more, when you tighten the ring up, there's a bit more sponginess. It will hold your fabric more securely. The next thing is also press your fabric before you put it in the frame. You will need to press it again afterwards to get rid of the ring design that's in there. But if you press it well to start with, it will save you a lot of hassle. And most people would put their fabric face up on the frame and put the top hoop on the top. I'm going to suggest that you put your fabric face down in the frame, put your hoop on top and push it down and tighten it up. And then work on the inside. Now, the reason for this is, if you're working like this, it doesn't matter how clean you keep your hands. If you put your work down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, and you're working over it over a number of evenings, when you come to take it out of the frame, you'll have this dirty grey ring around here where just your hands, the grease from your hands will mark your fabric. If you do it this way, you won't get that dirty ring because it will be the back of the fabric that you'll be touching more, and on the inside you'll just be touching the cotton tape. The other thing is, if you want to trace a design, it's much, much easier to lay your fabric ring down onto a light box, for example, like this one here. Let's just turn this on. If you're not lucky enough to have a light box, you can even lean up against a window on a bright day. Take your design and lay your fabric over the top of it, like so. Now, you possibly can't see this on the camera, but I can see it to trace through. And if you've got an embroidery pencil, like a silver pencil that comes away, certainly by all means use that. If you don't have anything like that, you can get away with a soft, either a 2B pencil or a soft coloured pencil, and just trace down on either side of your thick lines, like so. And you possibly, as I say, you probably can't see this, but when I turn the light off in a sec, so when I turn the light off, you can see how the lettering has traced through. Now, use a soft pencil because then that won't drag on the fabric. Don't worry if you go outside of the lines. It's your piece of work, it's your piece of artwork. You can do exactly what you want with it. But the beauty of using a coloured pencil is when you have your whole pre-traced design, I'm just going to fit in my frame, like so. When you've got your whole design, what you can then do is you can sew over the top of it with a matching colour thread. And then if you have gone outside the line, it's not that noticeable. Embroidery thread. Don't do what my friend Sarah did when she started embroidery and take, you know, your skein of embroidery thread, happily pull off some of it, and then attempt to get all 6 strands of floss into the eye of an embroidery needle. The reason it comes in 6 strands is so that you can choose how many strands of thread you want to work with. You can mix colours up if you use one strand of one colour and one of another, so you can get different tones. What I normally do is I will work with 2 strands at a time. So the easiest way I've found of separating these strands, it's a lot easier when your thumbnails haven't broken off the night before, but if you just flatten those 6 strands out in the middle, find 2 and then just carefully pull them apart like this. And then those 2 strands are perfect for work like this. And if you need to thicken up your text, you can then just use another stitch alongside it. I'd also recommend you don't cut more than about 30 centimetres of thread at a time, because as you work you may find that your thread twists, and then what happens is it knots up in the back and it causes all sorts of problems. So if you just work with about 12 centimetres, and here are some pre-threaded needle and thread, and then start at the back and work a neat back stitch along your coloured lines. So come up from the back of the fabric on your line and then work backwards. Now I am left-handed, so I'll probably be working in a different direction to the vast majority of you watching this video. I don't know what to suggest, but you can see the method that I'm using. I'm just coming up about 3 or 4 millimetres ahead of the last stitch and then going back through exactly the same hole, so that you get a nice flowing stitch. And if you've got tight corners to work, just use a shorter stitch. So then once you've outlined all your work, you should end up with something like this. Just a nice little embroidery hoop with a bit of dog hair on it because it came out of my house. What do you expect? And then you can add extra decoration of embroidery. Now you can either leave it as an outline, or another tip, and I've got a feeling they used to use this during the Second World War because I think thread was short. If you grab yourself, again, your nice soft colour pencil, you can just colour in that gap. So it saves an awful lot of time, and it probably won't withstand the wash, but it will certainly withstand being hung on your wall. And you know when you just know that your pencil's about to break because it is such a soft lead. I think I've probably dropped this on the floor at some point. It's just feeling a little bit dodgy. But again, just colour it in. You can even colour it in with wax crayons. I would avoid the use of felt tip pens because fabric by its very nature, especially cotton fabric, it's got quite a lot of wick in it, and if you put ink on that it would just bleed out. But if you're looking for a nice watercolour finish, then by all means try it with a felt tip pen to fill in your lettering. Or in the case of these, just do it as a line, just for a quote. Put it on a lavender bag for somebody, they can hang it on the door, they can hang it on the wardrobe, and just get started with embroidery that way. And then once you've built up your confidence, once you've got those tricks and you know how to keep your fabric nice and straight, how to do a decent back stitch, then you can go on to embroider the back of denim jackets, the legs of your jeans, anything you want. Embroidery is so popular and so pretty. I hope you give it a go. Thanks for having us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.